WWE Evolution in 2025 is no longer changing the game, it's simply reflecting it. Longstanding WWE fans know better than to look back at 2018. It was the year that crowds booed Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and DX returned from retirement to battle a 52-year-old Undertaker and the newly elected mayor of Knox County. But last weekend I made an exception to rewatch the original Evolution Premium Live event, PLE. 7 years later, it remains the only all-women's wrestling event in WWE history. That will change this Sunday, when Evolution gets its second outing in Atlanta. Given that Evolution 2025 will feature Io Sky and Rhea Ripley in their first PLE singles match in half a decade, maybe I should refrain from looking a gift horse in the mouth. But even a solid card with 5 titles on the line can't distract from the obvious question: do we really need an all-women PLE in 2025? Steady the cavalry, there will be no diatribes against women's wrestling here. Quite the opposite. If anything, the sheer quality of today's product makes me wonder whether or not putting female talents on a separate event does them a disservice. Isn't the whole point that they're just as worthy of a spot on a typical PLE as their male counterparts? Likewise, the original Evolution may have shown that it was possible to fill an entire card with female talent. But these days that's practically taken for granted in WWE. Up until a few weeks ago, when Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Stephanie Vaquer were all promoted to the main roster, you could have done it using NXT talents alone. In truth, having an all-women event wasn't an obvious decision the first time around either. While WWE tends to present Evolution as a big turning point for women's wrestling, the chronology suggests otherwise. By the time it happened in fall 2018, the now tainted Divas Championship had been retired for 2 years, around the same time that Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Sasha Banks brought the house down at WrestleMania 31 to crown the first WWE Women's Champion. Elsewhere, Ronda Rousey had made the switch to pro wrestling by putting Triple H in an armbar at WrestleMania 33, and Nia Jax was in full irresistible force mode, dominating WWE Raw. Maybe there was a more cynical motivation to holding that inaugural event, given that it came a few months after WWE hosted its first ever PLE in Saudi Arabia and just days before its second. Back in those days, the Desert Kingdom still prohibited women from competing in any wrestling events on its soil, a position criticized by WWE at the time. In fairness, making a separate all-women's event a savvy way of getting ahead of any PR nightmare. Funnily enough, the Saudi relationship is another